Hi, y'all. I'm Dale Watson. Welcome to the Blues Kitchen.
Dale Watson is the real deal. Based in Austin, he carries on the tradition of Johnny Cash, Waylon Jennings, and Willie Nelson with his Ameripolitan brand of American roots music. A stubbornly independent outsider that has released over 20 records and remains on the road over 300 days a year with his band The Lone Stars. We sit down to discuss growing up in Alabama, his love of truckin records, and Dale performs a version of Merle Haggard's If You Wanna Be My Woman. And remember, subscribe to the channel for our weekly episodes of The Blues Kitchen Presents. Dale, welcome to The Blues Kitchen.
That's good. Thanks for having me.
How you doing?
Good to be here.
I thought a really good place for us to start would be with your involvement, if you like, with the Ameripolitan Awards.
Well, thank you. Ameripolitan is a term that I came up with the help of a couple of friends of mine. I had a frustration of how to describe my music and the music I like. It was so easy in the past to call it country music, but now country music has changed so much that I don't identify with it. And to call myself country music or the music that I like, country music, is misleading, not only to whoever I'm talking to, but to me as well.
In a short while, you're going to indulge us and you're going to do a Merle Haggard tune for us. But I was sat with Pokey Lafarge at the beginning of this week. We did an interview with him, and he said something that really ties in with what you were saying about Ameripolitan, if you like. And he said, tradition is a guide, not a jailer. And I thought that's such a good way of putting it.
That's a great way to put it, yeah.
I don't know if maybe you could use that to kind of explain your relationship to people like Merle Haggard and Willie Nelson, the kind of outlaw country
exactly.
movement.
It is a guide, and with Merle Haggard, certainly for me, I think for Merle it would have been Electric Brazil and Jimmy Rogers. You use your influences to grow from. My favorite quote is actually a John Lennon quote.
Go on.
You've
got some pretty big Beatles fans in the room.
Oh yeah, well, my bass player is the biggest Beatles fan I've ever seen in my life.
Don't get us started.
Oh yeah, go. I want somebody to trip him up. There ain't nothing he don't know.
We'll give him a go.
Musically or fact-wise. So, but John Lennon said when they asked him about his roots and how he liked the Buddy Holly and the Crickets and the Carl Perkins and Little Richard, stuff like that, Elvis. And he says, yeah, we did that and we pretty much copied the songs. He says, but our inability to imitate our influence, there lies our originality. And I think that's true when you're talking about tradition being a guide, not a jailer. Unless you're intentionally trying to box yourself in and sound exactly like somebody that influenced you. In other words, like if you're an Elvis imitator or a Merle Haggard imitator or a Johnny Cash imitator, if you're that, then you are jailing yourself in.
Perhaps we could rewind a little bit. You're a very well-traveled man, and even before getting on the road, am I right in assuming, I think I've got written down here, from Alabama, is that
I was born in Alabama.
LA, Nashville, Maryland.
Well, born
Austin?
in Alabama. I lived for 12 years in North Carolina, and then we moved to Texas. I grew up there, and I went to LA for about 4 years.
Okay.
Then I came back to Texas, then went to Nashville for 10 months, which was way more than enough. then went back to LA for a year, then I went back to Austin.
So let's go back to your time in Alabama. Were you just a child when you?
Oh yeah. I was born there, and we left early. But
is that your first musical memories? Did they come in around Alabama?
Well, it was actually my dad was the son of a coal miner, and in Kentucky, and they moved from Hazard, Kentucky, where you coal mine on your back, or your stomach. On your
that
stomach
is a rough living, isn't it?
Yeah, and then they moved to Alabama because you could coal mine standing up. And
was that literally why they moved?
That's why they moved.
So they could mine standing up.
Yeah. So in other words, to answer your question, I was in both places. I'd go back and forth from Alabama, North Carolina, Tennessee, all of that. But the musical influence was pretty much my dad and my brothers and the music they played and listened to.
Which was?
Well, my dad, his same thing I listened to because I loved what he listened to. So his influences were pretty much mine, George Jones and Hank Williams and Roy Acuff, Bob Wills, Buck Owens,
Yeah.
Merle Haggard.
So what about the first tune you wrote? Can you remember the first tune you ever put pen to paper?
Oh, yeah.
And is it something you're still proud of, or something you put in a closet somewhere?
Yeah, it's gone.
It's gone. Okay.
Never to be heard again. But it was about the girl that lived across the street,
Standard stuff.
Like they
Little bit
all
of a
are.
love song.
Every song you write is about a girl that got away.
Are you about 20, 25 albums in now? Is that right?
Number 30 coming up.
30.
Number 30, yeah.
It's pretty prolific.
I don't know if it's prolific as it is. It's just a lot.
A lot. Okay.
Quantity isn't quality. I realized that some of the albums. I mean, I like doing theme albums too. I did 3 truckin' albums.
Yeah.
And pretty much they would not mean anything to anybody except truckers or people on the highway.
So on trucking, what's your top 3 trucking tunes that aren't your own?
Oh well, that's. There's so many of them to choose from, but.
Must be 1 or 2 that spring to mind.
Oh yeah, Girl on the Billboard, 6 Days on the Road. Girl on the Billboard is Del Reeves. 6 Days on the Road is Dave Dudley. Roll On Big Mama is another one.
The list goes on.
There is a big old list, man, because I listen to a lot of trucking music.
The last 10 or 12 years, feel like your ascendance has just been gradually building up and up and up, and you've had appearances on things like Austin City Limits, and you've been on Letterman and these kind of things. Was there a turning point somewhere along the line where things just kind of suddenly went for you? Because you've been making music for a long time now.
Yeah, I don't think there was. Well, I gotta say, I think Letterman was the turning point for me. He was very gracious. I mean, I remember we flew to New York, and the talent buyer met us at the door, and she goes, she's about 22 years old, I think. I don't know her name, but she says, "Hi, I'm so-and-so. I'm the talent buyer here. I normally book all the music, but David really liked you, and he heard a song. He told me to get you. I don't know who you are, but welcome."
Very honest.
Yeah, but welcome. I go, wow, okay, thanks. Glad to be here. Which I was. I was very honored to be there.
Yeah.
I think David likes underdogs, and he was because of that one shot. I think that was a turning point for us.
I wanted to ask you about your honky-tonks, or your bars. How do you find the time to set up these venues? And I know you play in them, and I'd like to chat to you about a couple of those things as well, but kind of what inspired you to do it, and how do you find the time to have these bars and be on the road all the time?
Well, I always had help. It's a labor of love because you don't make money in them things, and I had a lot of friends play for me that, I felt awful they didn't make much money at all, but it's you do it because you love the fact that you can get an audience for this type of music, because that was the only thing I would book in my bars was just Ameripolitan music. That was it.
So what about Chicken Shit Bingo? What's happened?
It's still going on. That's C-Boys.
Okay.
C-Boys on South Congress in Austin. If you get out there, come see us every Sunday. Can you say it? Chicken?
We'll probably
Chicken
bleep
bingo.
it out, but Chicken Shit Bingo, yeah.
Well,
I
you
feel,
said it, I didn't.
I said it.
I said chicken bingo.
I feel the need. It would be great if you could explain to anyone watching this exactly what Chicken Shit Bingo is, because it's quite unique.
Chicken poop bingo is
Chicken poop bingo.
For a paltry $2 donation. You can get a ticket out of a bag, and if the same number that's on that ticket is the same number the chicken picks in her chicken picking way, then you've won over $100. That happens 4 times every Sunday, and it's a blast. It's been going on for this is the 18th year. So.
Wow, really? I went a few years ago. It was amazing.
Oh, did you?
You weren't playing.
Well, darn. Well, yeah, I try to. I play it whenever I'm in town. Yeah.
Good times. So let's have a bit of a chat about Merle. You're going to be performing a Merle tune for us in just a moment.
Sure.
When did Merle first come into your life, if you like, musically?
Oh man, I mean it was early on because, like I said, my dad played in bars and he would play Merle songs, and I think my first awareness was what a lot of people's were with the Ogie from Muskogee, And Today I Started Loving You Again. I think that was one of the first Merle songs I heard. But as I started playing more, playing in bars, I started getting a lot of comparison to Merle, just because of my tone of my voice and the types of songs I sang.
Which is
wonderful compliment.
It is a great compliment. So I dove into more Merle to find out exactly where he was coming from, and listening to his songs made me a better writer.
And you play a few Merle tunes in your
Oh,
set.
I play a lot, yeah. Well, I mean, I don't go by set, you know. I mean, we depend 100% on the audience. You know?
Yeah, of course.
So if an audience is quiet and doesn't, you know, I encourage them, hey, what do you want to hear? Because we try to do any song off of any of my albums. It's getting harder when you get up to 30 albums.
I was going to say, you're going to have hundreds of tunes in your back catalogue.
Yeah, it's getting harder.
So, Merle tune you're going to do is If You Want to Be My Woman. Why? Why that one?
Well, my dad used to do that song, and what's funny is it happened often. My dad would be doing a song around the house, and I always thought he wrote it, you know,
Really?
because he wrote songs, you know. And then when I'd hear it by the other artists, I go, "Hey, they're doing your song." And he'd always says, "No, that's his song. I'm doing his song," and that's a very uncharacteristic Merle song. If You Want to Be My Woman.
It's an 80s one, isn't it? It's more of an R&B tune.
It's more, yeah. It's definitely got that
Yeah.
Memphis beat, you know, and
The piano intro, it could be Can I Get a Witness, you know, the Marvin Gaye
yeah,
tune.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I believe that Merle definitely, he appreciated all that stuff, you know.
Brilliant. Well, I think it's probably time you introduce your tune, if that's all right.
All right. Well, I'm going to be doing a song called "If You Want to Be My Woman, You Got to Let Me Be Your Man." It was written by Merle Haggard. You like riding in the country in my Cadillac. When I try to kiss you, you keep on pushing me back. Say you like to party on the money that I earn, but you refuse to give me something equal in return. Don't you look at me like, honey, you don't understand. I know you understand. If you wanna be my woman, you know you got to let me be your man. Take it down. I know that ain't true. They try to act so smart and innocent too. You say you need a ring to get the love that I need. Give me just a sample of it, baby, before I sign your deed. Don't you look at me